When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Monday, where we have news from David Ornstein that Trent is to be dropped for England's next game against Slovenia and replaced with Conor Gallagher, a Conor Gallagher-Declan Rice double pivot. Yeah, Gareth Southgate will Gareth Southgate until the end of Gareth Southgate. That is just appalling. Also at the Euros, we saw Dominic square off against Andy Robertson yesterday, and Dominic's Hungary team came out the 1-0 victors. So Robbo's Scotland are out 1 point from their 3 games. And as myself and Carol discussed on our daily Euro 2024 episode of the Scouted Pod, all in all, a bit of a disappointment from Scotland, quite cowardice across their 3 games, no real ambition, no real effort to score goals, just playing for draws, trying to scrape their way through or, nick a late goal. They scored 2 goals in the competition. One was an own goal and the other took a huge deflection. That's basically it. That's what Scotland managed in their 3 games. So Robbo is out. Dominic must now wait and see how the other groups end up. Hungary have 3 points, but they have a -3 goal difference, which could hurt them. They only need 2 teams to finish with less points or the same points and a worse goal difference than them, though, from the other third-place teams, and that will advance them into the knockout phases. So, for example, if Albania lose today and Croatia lose today, or both of them draw, then nobody from Group B will take them out. And then potentially, if England and Denmark win their games in Group C, Slovenia and Serbia would have less, so through would go Hungary. So that's kind of where we are with Dominic, and fingers crossed he gets to play in the round of 16, because I think it'd be great for his confidence. He doesn't look like he's fully fit, if I'm being honest. He really doesn't. And I wonder, is he still carrying something from the injury that he had during the season? And then obviously his form wasn't great. It didn't look quite his usual self in the back half. It didn't look anything like his usual self in the back half of the season. So we'll see what happens. In the Copa America, Darwin scored a stunning goal in Uruguay's 3-1 win over Panama. Of course, people will focus on one miss where he should have scored, and another one that, he's in front of goal, he's 16 yards out, but the ball comes in at pace, it's on the volley. I think he makes good connection and guides it on target, and the keeper just does pretty well. I thought overall he played really well, but obviously there'll always be simpletons that want to focus on the negative side of things. this is Anfield. There is a piece up about Dominic, and obviously the Hungarians now waiting to discover their fate for the quarter or the round of 16. Obviously, the serious injury that one of the Hungarians suffered as well. Sounds like he's going to be fine. He's just got some nasty facial injuries, but he should be okay. There's a piece here then about Arne Slot inheriting a midfield in its prime, written by Joanna Durkin, but she does point out there's an obvious piece missing, and that is a starting caliber number 6, which we can all see that we need. We've got a pretty good group of midfielders. It's not elite right now, but certainly has the potential to develop that way with young players like Dominic, like Curtis, like Harvey. Gravenberg is 22, although there's serious question marks over whether he's got a real future at the club. Alexis is obviously, borderline of top class already. Endo's a good squad player, but little more than that. And then there are some young players, the likes of Bisetic, Clark, that I think can play parts moving forward. Whether or not they're starters, we'll wait and see. And then there's McConnell and Morton. McConnell has a chance to become a squad contributor. I think the best thing for Morton is to sell him this summer. If we can get a good fee, I don't see why you'd keep him. He's not going to play for us next year. In that kind of controlling role next to the 6, we've already got Alexis and Curtis. That's their best position in that setup of Arne Slot's 4-2-3-1. And I think Bisetic is also best suited to that role next to the defensive midfielder. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to keep Tyler when we could sell him, get a significant amount of money for him, and you put in a sell on, and you protect, your interest in the player moving forward. But certainly a defensive midfielder is absolutely needed. And even with Endo himself, who would be the one whose position will be most under threat by the arrival of such player, has said he thinks that we should sign one. So, yeah. Liverpool transfer plans. This is written by Jack Lusby. Liverpool face a number of uncertainties in the transfer window, including the futures of Queven Kelleher and Luis Diaz, as well as key areas to strengthen. So, with Queven, I think we're holding out for a price. We've set a very high price by all accounts, but it's probably a thing where we ask for 25, we'll take 20 with add-ons. We ask for 30, we'll take 25 with add-ons, something like that. I do think he'll leave. I do think Diaz will leave. There's just too much noise. And look, he says all the right things. Credit to him. He's not, making a lot of noise about wanting to go himself, but his agent and his dad have said plenty. And it's very well known that Barcelona are very, very interested in the player. So it looks like with Barca, they need to sell Rafinha. Now, he has interest from Saudi Arabia, which, if Barca can make that sale, they can then turn around and buy Diaz. I think that works for everybody. So Jack Lusby, Sam Milne and Joanna Durkin have given their thoughts on Kelleher, Diaz and more. So question 1, what do you make of reports that centre-back is not an immediate priority? I think Jack doesn't believe it. Sam says maybe look at it at face value, but he doesn't really believe it either. And the same goes for Joanna. We've been linked to a number of centre-backs, really. Calafiori, Pacho, Yoro, Guehi, but they're different types. So Guehi and Yoro, for me, would be to come in and supplement Ibu in that right side centre-back role. I think the likes of Pacho and Calafiori would be looked at more as left-backs, that defensive left-back, so that, like the Gertruda role, but on the left rather than the right. because we have Trent at right back. They had Hartman at left back. Hartman's not nearly as good, doesn't have the passing range or anything like that, but they do similar things and they want to play in similar areas. So I think we want two defenders. But I think the left back we'll want is a centre back, ostensibly. It could be Nkapie, it could be Inacio, could be somebody like Lukeba from Leipzig. But I think they'd be to play left back. Now, with Calafiori, you could play him left back for the next few years and then have the view of, well, he's going to replace Virgil in the middle. But with Guehi and with Yoro, because those centre-backs, your Pachos, your Calafioris, to play them with Virgil, you're either going to play them on the right where they don't play, or you're going to move Virgil out of his position to the other side, which he's not as comfortable with. It's not his position. He's the best centre-back in the planet. You don't move him. You leave him where he is, which is why I think those players have been looked at for left-back. And I think Guehi and Yoro and whoever else gets mentioned, Todibo, would be to supplement Ibu and play next to Virgil. And I know Guehi plays left side of it too for Palace, but he's very comfortable playing right side of the two as well. And we're not going to spend 60 million on a centre back like him if they're not coming in to play regularly. And the other goes, how would you replace him? Jack says Vítězslav Jaros, which is what I would say as well. He's homegrown, obviously has shown really well on the couple of loans that he's had in the last few seasons, especially this past year, where he had a very strong loan. So, yeah, I think he just steps up. I think that's the ideal situation for us. I think that's the purpose of us going out and signing so many young goalkeepers, is that we've got the best keeper in the world. Our backup just needs to be somebody who we can rely on, who's competent and who can do the job for a couple of years, and then we can sell them on at a profit, like we're doing with Kelleher, like would be the ideal with Jaros. You get 2 good years of him as the backup, you move him on, then Pitaluga steps in, you get 2 good years of him, you sell him on. Maybe at that point you're looking at, is Alisson now finished? Is it time to move him on? But I don't think any of these young goalkeepers are ever really been looked at as, well, they're the future starter. Would you sell Luis Diaz for the right offer? Sam says no. Joanna says no. And Jack says reluctantly yes. I'm just not sure why there would be any reluctance in this. Like, upgrading on Diaz would not be all that hard. It's also written here, it's worth noting most of the wingers linked have been right-sided forwards. Have they, though? I mean, Kudus has been linked. He plays predominantly on the left for West Ham. Nico Williams has been linked. He plays predominantly on the left for Bilbao. Rodrigo's been linked. He's best on the left, though he does play on the right for Real because of Vinicius. Kavic has been linked. He plays left side. So, aside from like Minta and Bakayoko, who I think was a target for the old regime, don't really see a whole lot of right-sided wingers been linked anyway. Are there any positions you think have been forgotten so far? Jack says left back. He's looking at Kirkes and Aït-Nouri, but again, I think that's what the left-footed centre back would be for. He does mention Hartman of Feyenoord in this as well. I mean, I think that's extremely unlikely that we would move for Hartman. I don't think we'll sign any Feyenoord players. I don't think we should sign any Feyenoord players. I don't think we'll sign anybody from the Dutch league anytime soon because it's a dreadful quality. But also, Hartman's out until 2025 with a torn ACL. So it would be a very silly move to go and buy him. And I mean, the stuff about, Beck, Chambers and Gomez can all play there. These players aren't good enough. And Andy Robertson's not good enough anymore. He needs to be moved on. So, yeah, I think left back, Sam says striker. Left back's a much bigger need than striker. And I think that's one that, again, I think we are targeting that, but I think we're targeting it with more of a centre-back type of player. Lenny Yoro agrees deal with Real Madrid. Okay. So a reporter from The Athletic, Mario Corticada, who's he? And he's the Real reporter for The Athletic. It feels to me like Real have told all of their outlets and all of their kind of patch journals to push this, that, he's already told us he wants to come here, to try and scare other clubs away so that Real can get him cheap and not have to pay a significant sum of money. Because they don't want to pay big money. Real want to pay 30, 35 million. This is what they did with Camavinga. When he was at Rennes, he was in the same position where he was entering the last 12 months of his contract. And there was a bunch of clubs in for him, and Rennes were looking for, I think, 55 to 60 million euro. And Real basically just put on this big propaganda tour of, he's already told us. No, he's already told Real he only wants to go there. Doesn't want to go anywhere else. And we heard it from all these same people that are saying now that Yoro's done it. There was never any evidence that it was true. And then all of a sudden Real got Camavinga for, I want to say 34 million, which was way below what Rennes wanted. And I think they're looking to do the same thing to Lille. Great news over the weekend. Alan Hansen has been released from hospital and will continue his recovery at home. A message from the Hansen family published on the official club website reads, Alan, Janet, Adam, Lucy and family would like to thank everybody for the wonderful messages of love and support. It has been overwhelming and helped enormously. We also hugely appreciate the ongoing respect that has been shown for our privacy as Alan continues his recovery. So that is tremendous news. Obviously, Graham Souness had said on TalkSport last week that he'd spoken to Hansen and he seemed in good spirits and that it sounded positive. So, yeah, looks like Alan Hansen is well on the path to recovery. On Anfield Watch, there's a piece about Trent being dropped. Liverpool linked star to quit Bayern Munich amidst the feeling of trust is destroyed. It's Joshua Kimmich. Hard pass on the idea of us signing Kimmich. There's just no logical reason to us signing him. Have a look here. Ex-Liverpool star marries Italian DAZN presenter and model. Oh, that's Loris Karius has gotten married. Congrats to him. Rui Pinto is to release the Manchester City documents, which could be quite extraordinary. Really could be quite extraordinary. There's an excellent piece from Sam Maguire on Calafiori, so please go and read that. It is absolutely tremendous to see Sam finally getting on board with the idea of signing an Italian. Liverpool have doubled their asking price for player. It's about Queeving. I don't believe they've doubled the asking price, though. Apparently Pep Linders wants to loan Bobby Clark. That might be a decent move for him, actually. Adrian is leaving. He's going to Real Betis. That has somehow led to temper tantrums from the usual suspects who claim it's down to Liverpool being cheap. I just don't think it is down to Liverpool being cheap. I just think that as a Spanish person, he wants to go and live in Spain And also, like, he's from Seville, and Real Betis is in Seville, so he wants to go home. And also, if he can be second choice at Betis, where he was before, like, he spent, 15 years with them? Came through their academy, played for their C team, their B team, and then their first team before joining West Ham. Like, it just makes all the sense for him to go there. I don't understand why anybody would look at it as Liverpool being cheap, but he can go there and be second choice and maybe play in the Cups, or stay at Liverpool and never play. Like, he's played twice in 3 years. So, given his age, I think he's 37. He is 37. He doesn't have long left. He probably wants to go and, play a few games before he retires. Let's see. Liverpool turned down a loan offer from Vitória in Portugal for Fabian Mrozek. Interesting. He's quite highly regarded, so I wonder, are they looking at him as, maybe he'll be third choice next season, or what the situation will be. There's more about the Man City leaks there, but yeah, I mean, we'll just wait and see. There's no point in getting too excited about them, because you never know. You just never know. Right, AnfieldIndex.com. How Liverpool can take on Ipswich and the infamous early kickoff. There's a piece about Tyler Morton, another piece about Tyler Morton, a piece about Adrian, and then a piece about Darwin at the Copa America. There is a New Media Matters. It is Dave Davis and David Lynch. So do check that out when you get the opportunity. And then there is the Transfer Metrics show, which is hosted by Dave Davis, and they're looking at a couple of different players that have been linked. So, do check that one out. And that's it. I will see you all tomorrow. No, I won't. I may not be here tomorrow. It's still up in the air. I will say I'll definitely see you Wednesday, but I might be here tomorrow. We'll see. All right, bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index, and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Nobody knew that healthcare could be so complicated.
Trump was a failure on healthcare.
Hundreds of thousands of Black Americans lost healthcare insurance. That is outrageous.
And if he's president again, he would cancel insurance for millions more of us.
We cannot go back. President Biden and Vice President Harris have lowered healthcare premiums and expanded coverage for Black families. They also capped the price of insulin at $35. Joe Biden is getting the job done for people just like me.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.